Hi, everybody. I've been wanting to do this ever since I finished my last one. I was going to get right back, and I would think I knew what I wanted to read on, and I would watch TV for 30 minutes and think, gee, that's kind of old now, or things have changed now. It's just been such a quick news cycle. Um, it's been kind of unreal. I'm going to move over here. Anyway, I just wanted to do this so I could see if we could catch up. I want to thank anybody that's watching this and everybody that's watched me before, especially if you're back again, and just let you know that I'm grateful and hopefully helping get some stuff done. I mean, well, I don't know what, I'm getting some stuff done for me. It's making me feel less nervous to be able to do this, so I want to thank you for it. Gosh, there's so many different things to read on. One reason I think the president's throwing Mike Pence under the bus so quick, well, he's vindictive and he's an asshole, but outside of that, I think he wants to make it sure to all the people, especially all the people in the Senate, that if they actually did happen to jump over and vote for impeachment, that Mike Pence wouldn't be able to be the president either. So they don't want Nancy Pelosi in there. So I think he's trying to scare them by doing that. And there's more things going on here. He appears to be so desperate. Trump is so desperate at this time. And I feel like he's desperate because he knows he's not going to be able to make secret communications as easy as it has been. That he's not going to be able to have those back channels where even it's not really a back channel, but everybody around him is playing his game and covering up for him. So it's the same thing as having a back channel. He can just go on to all these foreign leaders that are dictators and just talk to them about graft and money and everything else. God knows what he's talked to Putin about all these times. And he felt pretty sure that wasn't going to get out. I'm hoping that they get some more transcripts. And that's one thing I'm going to read just a little bit on. I wrote this down 2 hours ago, so by now I'm not, I had it on there first. But it was just going to be a 4 across and a 4 down, and I was going to do transcripts. Are we going to get any more transcripts of any of the calls? Are we going to get the Deutsche Bank records? Are we going to get the tax returns? And I had another guide come through to me tonight. I haven't used her for years, even though I always keep a statue of her right by my table because she's a healer. But Quan Lin came through to me and she told me, she asked me to read. I felt like she was asking me to read on something, and it sounded so silly, it didn't even make much sense. But she wanted me to ask if somebody really close to Trump, probably he's not trusting anybody right now, so it might even be the son-in-law again, might be Kushner, was trying to figure out a new back channel to Putin, because he's I think that's what he's got him the most worried. I think he's been taking most of his cues and most of his do this next, do that next, pull that next, get rid of that person next. Most of the things he's been doing it, I feel like he's been instructed to do it. And I think he's having little terrifying night sweats at this time because he can't he's afraid he won't have any type of back channel at all to Putin again. He's afraid that they're going to be watching him so close that he might have to use a carrier pigeon. But anyway, for some reason, this is what I have another guide. Like I said, we all have different guides, but I haven't used her in a long time. I used to use her years ago, but she just came in and says, well, you know, what am I, dried up fruit or whatever? That's what I felt like she was telling me. They have a good sense of humor, but I want to ask some questions too. And so I was meditating and I just said, well, what do you want to watch? What do you want to ask? And it came out bat channels. And then after I started watching TV today and seen some of the stuff that was going on, I thought, oh, okay, he's panicking. He's wanting to fire, that came out, I was just listening to it while I was doing dishes, that he's wanting to get rid of more of the people in the White House and more of the people, otherwise anybody that could possibly be listening in on these phone calls, he wants to get rid of them. So anyway, I'm just going to do a 4 across and a 4, and then we're going to go back down them. And we're going to see if, to start with, if we're going to get any of the other transcripts. Well, they're in my glasses. It's a good thing I didn't need them. I wrote big. Are we going to get any of the other transcripts? And this, if we get them, it'll probably be because the Supreme Court ruled in our favor. But I think that's one of my next questions on the next bunch I'm going to do, not on this bunch. But anyway, are we going to get any of the transcripts? I shuffled these cards to death yesterday. Are we going to get any of the transcripts? It's easier to do it if you're not looking at them for some reason. I'm going to cut this part out. Oh, Lordy. I'm not going to go there. I swore up now I was going to do a whole video without putting myself down. I am just so sharp and I'm so smart. And I'm so ambidextrous. Oh, anyway. So, the first row across, are we going to get any more telephone transcripts from before this is all over? I know they're not going to give many more of them up willingly, but are we going to get them? This is what I'm going to ask. Are we going to get any more? I got a feeling that when Rick Perry comes through that he's going to blow the lid off this. Or either he was told to go through there and point everything at Pence, so everybody realized that if we get rid of Trump, that Pence won't be able to be the president till the next election, that it'd have to be Nancy, or unless he can get rid of Pence first and get him to put somebody else in there, which I don't think he's going to fall for that. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed, that's for sure, but I don't know if he's quite that dumb right now. Who knows? Who knows what's going on in that man's head? He's not wired up like a regular human being. But, so this is, are we going to get the transcripts? Well, well, whether we are or whether we're not, Trump's been laying awake nights worried about it. That's one reason he's trying to already start cutting some more help around the White House. He's hoping he might get the whistleblower in that, which I have an idea who I think the whistleblower is. I'm going to ask about that. I think it might be Dan Coates. I really didn't think he had the balls to do that because he just kind of let Trump screw him around all that time he worked in there and stuff. And he is a dyed hard cast Republican, so. But I'm going to ask it. I think one of the other readers mentioned it. I noticed 2 or 3 people came out today that I like to watch, but I didn't watch them because it confuses me. So Transcripts. Well, Trump's laying away night at the time, right now, worrying about it. He's trying to figure out how to stop it, how to stop us from ever getting any more information from him, any of his phone calls. That's got him shook up more than even the impeachment, is how is he going to get a hold of Putin? How is he going to get his cues? How's he going to do all this stuff if he's being watched? And everybody that's around him is either going to be in big trouble or something. I can't imagine them people getting out of that. So, okay, so right now he's laying awake nights worrying about it. And he's a fool if he thinks by firing more people around him it's going to get rid of the whistleblowers. People around him that realizes that he's breaking the law every day. So what's going on now, he's just being really foolish, even thinking he can get by this again. He's going to have to change. Like I said, maybe carrier pigeon would work good. And the challenge to that is balancing the money. He owes Putin big amounts of money. He really owes him big amounts of money right now, and I think he's trying to figure out if he can't get these sanctions lifted, how's he going to repay it? He's kind of like Manafort was when he came in there, that he was going to get information out and that was going to repay his debt. I'm pretty sure that, you know, if they lifted that sanctions, it would repay Trump's debt, no matter how big it is, because that was a huge oil deal that they had with Rex Tillerson all worked out before he even got into office, that Russia was supposed to get to do, drilling out in the ocean. And that all got stopped when we put sanctions on them. So we've got him laying awake night worrying about it. Is anybody else going to be able to hear about any of his calls or get the transcripts from any of his calls that he's made before or maybe coming up? He thinks he's figured out a way to get around it for the new ones, but he's a fool if he does. It's got to do with the money he owes Russia. And we got the Wheel of Fortune here. So everything is changing. Yes, anything he does is going to end up coming out. I think he's on his way out. He's on his way out. So yeah, that's not going to work. The whole world may know about all of his phone calls before this is all through if he don't start paying attention. Are we going to get the records from Deutsche Bank? If we do, Ivanka's going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. If we do get those records, it's going to put Ivanka in lots of trouble. And him too. He's holding on to his money, trying to hold on to all these records, trying everything he can to keep this information from coming out. But we know that. We knew it was going to involve the whole family, that Deutsche Bank was, but let's see if it's what the holdup is around. Look at this. We got 8. Would they be subpoenas for this information or something? We got something. 8 different forms of information coming out right away. That's the holdup. Is they've got 8 of them that they've been requesting. 8 of them they haven't let loose, but it looks like they're coming. And when it does come, it's going to be all about Russia. Here we got the Lovers. The outcome is the Lovers. It's going to show. So it looks like it is going to come out eventually. I wish I knew when. And when it does, it's going to mess up his immediate family. His daughter's in this really uptight. But, well, so is his sons, I'm sure. It's going to show where he's got money stored in different places. It's going to come quick and hard. documents are coming. And when they come, it's going to show how tied up he is with Russia. So that was Deutsche Bank. And now let's do the tax returns, because I think something's coming out within the next, what was on that other one? Before the end of the month, something's coming out about those tax returns. Well, they're still fighting it. This is like the mercenary going in. We got the Knight of Swords here, going in there fighting like a... I'm not going to say what I was going to say. God, it almost came out. Anyway, this fighting like a hornet. And in the present, I wasn't trying to make this about Trump, but we got the Eight of Cups, and this is the walking away card. So he's seriously thinking, if these tax returns comes out, even though he's fighting it and all of his minions are fighting it and all of his crooked people are fighting it, when it comes out, even if we never find out about it, if just whatever the government finds out, he knows he's going to have to walk away. So that's what's going on with him in the present. He knows if the tax returns comes out, it's over. I don't know how people can sleep at night. If that was me, I'd be such a nervous wreck. They'd have to have me on some kind of tube feeding or something. And the challenge to this taxes is going to be the overseas money, the laundered money. Of course, I'm sure that does not surprise anybody. And are they coming? Well, we got the Apprentice here. You know, if these do come out, it's going to put somebody in jail. It'd be nice if it'd be his whole family, but I don't. He knows that if these that he's going to have to walk it away. It's going to be about all of his deals with laundering money from Russia, and it's going to end up putting him or some of his family in jail. But we knew that too, so that's nothing new. And Quan Lin, the question she wanted me to ask was, are they busy already trying to set up a back channel between Putin and Trump? I mean, that was the first thing that Jared Kushner wanted to do when he went into office, even before they got elected, even before he got the inauguration. He was in there working on that. And of course they got caught, or somebody in there that knew that wasn't supposed to be done, got through to somebody, and supposedly they quit. But I think this is why he's so panicked. I think he doesn't know what to do. And here we got Nancy Pelosi as what's in the past, so she's part of the government. So it wasn't her personally that stopped them from doing that back channel. She wasn't even in any kind of power at that time, but it was people around him that were following the rules at that time. He's had some people around him that were following the rules that let this out and let it get going. This is his present card. This is Trump's present card. It's the death card. And we're talking about back channels to Russia. He wants to set one up. Maybe he thinks he's got it covered some way. Maybe there's something going on. But if he does, it's going to bring his presidency down, totally down all the way. That's something he's not even going to have any backing. It's just going to kill it immediately. And the challenge to this is the old Republican Party card. And since we're back to Trump and back to the death card and back to the government stopping him from doing it the first time, if he does this, that would be the challenge. If they catch him doing that, he's even going to lose all the support of the Republicans if they find out that he's busy working on a back channel to Putin. And I don't even know why this came up, but I don't know why why she wanted me to read on this, but if she does, that's going to be the challenge to that is that's going to be the end of the Republican Party, because they're not going to stand behind him out there. And then the end card for that, which is the future on it, is illusion delusion. So no, I think if he gets caught trying to set up a back channel with Russia, that there's not going to be any illusion delusions about it. I think he's going to be actually caught and out the door. So now we're going to go down these real quick and see if they work the other way. Sometimes they do. Number 1 is transcripts of his calls. He's awake at night worrying about it. He knows there's a bunch of discretions on it, especially at the present. There's a bunch of stuff on those phone calls to do with his children even and his family. If they got a hold of all those transcripts, he's asked some favors for them, about them, for them to do things. Something's going on there with his family. And the challenge is that he'd just like to go in there and just get rid of all of them, just blank them out, get rid of the records. That's what they're trying to figure out, how to do that. But the outcome to that is they've been told not to. They've been told to hang on to these records and not get rid of everything. Now, usually that don't mean much to them, one way or the other, but every time I end up turning that over there, it makes the cards worse on the camera. Anyway, we have Nancy Pelosi here, and he knows he can't. My shoulder's hurting. Try to move a bed today. Anyway, so he knows that would be a bad idea, but he'd like to just get rid of all those transcripts. And the next one's Deutsche Bank. And in the past, he was really sure he could keep it hidden. We got the fool here. That he was just so smart and everything that he could keep it hidden. In the present, he's just fighting it and sweating it and sweating nails. I'll say sweating nails. This always reminds me of Trump sitting on the pot. But anyway, he's sweating nails that these transcripts are going to come out. Oh, these aren't transcripts. Yeah, these are the Deutsche Bank records that they're going to come out. The challenge to this is the walking away card again. He knows if these, so even if these come out, he's going to have to walk away. He knows if the records from Deutsche Bank or the transcripts, either one comes out, that he's going to have to walk away. But he really knows that these records from Deutsche Bank would be the end of his presidency. There's no way he could talk his way out of that. He even knows that. We have the death card. And then the tax returns. Are they going to get those? Are they going to get the records? Well, when I say tax returns, I don't mean I mean the records of his taxes, which if they get the returns, they'll end up getting into what's in them. That's what's going to do it. Well, they're still balancing that. He's got two different people. Well, we know Mnuchin is one of them. Well, somebody else has been blocking and playing with that stuff, and maybe that's what's going to come out, because we got a third whistleblower that wants to talk about this, wants to talk about these taxes. So there's two people that's been messing with it and keeping it held up. Of course, we know one is Barr and one's Mnuchin, but there's somebody else in there. Somebody back there behind the scenes that's been balancing this and keeping what's supposed to be done with them not done with them. In the present, there's all kinds of indictments going to open these up, or what are they, indictment or subpoenas? They're subpoenas, I think, to go open all these up. They want to see these. They want to see these tax records. And the challenge to it is these tax records are all involved with Russia. They're all involved with overseas. And they're all about his family. They would run his family. And that last one was about a back channel. Well, if he's been trying to set up a back channel, it's going to change because the whole world's going to find out about it. We got the Wheel of Fortune here. And if he pursues this, it's going to change everything. And of course, it would show his partnership with Putin. That's what he's wanting to do, wanting to get so bad right now. He's wanting some advice from him, and he doesn't know what to do about it. And the challenge is how to get this money back, how to repay him for all this money that he owes Putin. That's the challenge. And the outcome is we're not going to know right away what's going on. Even if they find out really big important stuff, a little bit of it might leak out. You know how the news is, they're really good. But what's really, really going on in these records, it'll be about March or April before we find out what's in any of this stuff if it comes out. We will find out some stuff, but it'll be next March, April, maybe May of next year even, before we find it out. So that's my story for those, and I don't know if I'm gonna, like I say, I'm not even gonna go into it. I'll probably put it up. It might make more sense when I look at it. So remember, if anybody wants a personal reading, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. Love personal readings. I got lucky enough to do one yesterday. Fell in love with the lady. I always do that, no matter who it is. It's like I'm talking to a long lost friend. And I've never used to feel, I dealt with people all my life, and most of us thought very different ways. I never felt like I was part of their family, but most people I do readings for, it's like somebody I've known all my life. So about 9 out of 10, in fact. So that's a pretty good average. No wonder I enjoy doing them so much. It's like I said, it's like talking to a long lost friend, and it's a lot of fun. And I don't know if I put these back in here already or what I did, but anyway, it's lynntarotreadings@gmail.com. If anybody's interested in a private reading, please email me and I'll get right back to you as quick as. Well, I wasn't even sure what I was going to read on next, but Temperance, we're going to put her up above the reading. It's for Temperance. It's for all of us to slow down, take a deep breath, do a little meditation, call an old friend. Maybe clean the closet out. I know this sounds silly, but I read once that every time you open a closet, your brain's just like a computer, and you see everything in there, and it files all that stuff, even though you're not conscious of it. Believe me, you're not if you're looking for something in it. But your brain is filing all this stuff, and they say the best way to empty out all the extra baggage in the brain, the confusion, is to clean the closet out. And I have tried that over the years, and I don't know if it empties out any confusion, but it makes me feel a lot better. Anyway, so I'm not trying to tell you to clean your closet. So I'm trying to tell you sometimes that makes people feel a lot better if they're uptight. I'm sure nobody's closets are quite as messy as mine. Okay. So let's see what we're reading about next.